Poems. 1. Captain Busby put his beard in his mouth and sucked it, then took it out and spat on it, then put it in and sucked it, then walked on down the street, thinking hard. Suddenly he put his wedding ring in his trilby hat, and put the hat on a passing kitten. Then he carefully calculated the width of the pavement with a pair of adjustable sugar tongs. This done, he knitted his brows. Then he walked on, thinking hard. 2. Captain Busby frowned hard at a passing ceiling, and fixed his eye upon a pair of stationary taxis. Suddenly he went up to one of them and addressed himself to the driver. He discharged his socks and continued whistling. The taxi saluted, but he put up with it, and puckered a resigned mouth and knitted a pair of thoughtful eyebrows. 3. M, looking out of his window with purple curtains, saw Captain Busby thoughtfully chewing a less impatient portion of his walking stick, ostentatiously against a lamp-post. The road was blue, but Captain Busby seemed a very dark green with ivory face, for it was night-time. He frowned. He looked up to the top of the rapidly emptying street. He cut his hair slowly. He looked at the bottom of the street. He made rapid measurements with a pair of adjustable sugar tongs. These he afterwards secreted in his trousers. Then he flew into his friend's apartment through the willingly opened window. 4. Marcella waited for her lover outside a public house known to both of them. Immediately Captain Busby appeared, holding a woman in his arms. This wasn't true, thought Marcella carefully, and she was relieved to see that God had thrown a lamp-post at the captain, temporarily disabling him. 5. He arranged himself in sugar and put himself in his bath and prepared to breathe his last. His 4 bottles lay grouped around him. Do your duty in this world and gather dividends from the dog thrown at you. Goodbye, my children. And he died, and they huskily nailed down his coffin and put it in 10 feet of soil, and grouped around him, reading the will. For indeed, and forever, he would be, to them, just Dad. 6. Mother lay crying in the withdrawing room, bitterly bewailing cruel fate, who with a flick of his pen had so completely shattered the even tenure of her ways, sobbed upon the brick platform, shaking her fist at every porter who passed, declaring the cruel fate who with a flick of his pen had so cruelly broken the even tenure of her ways. 7. She considered the porter with the cap on the side of his head fitfully, who had squandered his sweet peas upon her, who had ridden every train and blown all whistles to feast his evil frontal eyes on her, to break the even tenure of her ways. She shunted her back to him. She put on her large black hat with insolent vulgarity and deliberately smirked into his face. He was busy. He was doing his duty. He rattled the cans. He gave out composed answers to the back chat following his curt commands. He went on with his duty, forgetting that he had broken the even tenure of her ways. She walked thoughtfully upon a sugar box, and would there and then have harangued the station officials to compel the attention of the porter. But he did not. But he could not. But he did not. And could not, should, as he had broken the even tenure of her ways, she thrust a carrot into his face. He gravely took it and handed it, without moving a muscle of his face. To the dominant personality of the station master himself, events moved indefatigably to their long-awaited climax. The station master seized the carrot and conveyed it to a drawer reserved for matters of importance, and seizing a document asserting his credentials and authority, motored along the platform and alighted at the lady. "Madam," he said coldly, "your carrot is in the drawer. Pray, come for it, or suitable measures will be taken to enforce the union of yourself and the personality who broke the even tenure of your ways." Lightning juggled above the station, portraying its grim battlements. Thunder crashed upon the assembled people. She threw 3 flashes of self-possessed rays at him from her large, radiant eyes. She ran to the drawer, refusing the automobile. She snatched abruptly at the carrot, scenting with inexorable female intuition the precise positions afforded by reason of its preeminent significance. She ran from the room like a bitten, wounded thing, and fell laughing upon the station master who had broken the even tenure of her ways.